Welcome back to State of Decay 2 and the Lion's Share. Or we're gonna be in the Lion's Share in just a minute, but last episode, we ran into some kind of weird audio glitch, possibly because I've had the game on quick resume for a really long time, and I don't know, probably just ran out of audio memory. Honestly, that situation, in a previous iteration of this game, it might have just made a screeching sound and then brought all audio to a halt, which was a problem we had until update 4, I think, which was really obnoxious. And I think that was tied to audio memory. But I'm hoping that now that we've returned to Pat, after having fully quit out of the game and started it from scratch, that the audio glitches will be over and we'll be able to finish our mission here. So we've decided that we're going to try to take out these infestations because it actually behooves me to try to bring this community to the point where it's ready to legacy. So I'm going to need to take out the remaining plague hearts. I'm going to need to go through the legacy missions up until the last one. But along the way, if I just leave a bunch of infestations around, that's going to be bad for me. So that's going to take some time. So yeah, we need to keep this place nice and clean. So I'm going to head down here. That was a really bad turn. Let's not do that again. We're going to head down here, take out these infestations, and then clear out some more plague husks. I swear I'm going to get all these plague husks done before we're finished today. So, hello, infestation. Have they seen me yet? Are they about to scream? Hello. Stop it! There. There are 3, though. Dang it! Stop it. Well, at least they make themselves easy to find. When they shout like that. That's good. Let's see if I can gather some folks indoors. Let's get everybody in here. Oh, hey, there's a plague husk in here, too. Perfect. Let's just gather everybody into a nice, tight space. And then let's leave through an exit. And set the exit on fire. Oh, good. She's got that grab a zombie and stomp its head move, too. Just like the last guy. I think she can still be damaged by zombies while she's doing that, so it's not like a push button to win. But I love that finishing move that does the swing around the head to hit all the other zombies. That one's nice. It makes me happy. Uh-oh. I got near some special weapon crates, so Coalition is going to freak out until I grab them. Let's, I don't know how much space I've got in my car right now. Yeah, not a bunch. Okay, so one thing we're going to have to do... I'm right between 2 outposts. Let's head back down to this outpost. Let's grab this plague husk, and then we'll come back. Yeah, because we're traveling heavy right now. I mean, maybe we can take out the other infestation on the way down. But maybe we'll be forced to flee. Well, if we're forced to flee, we know where we're headed. So, which building was it? Looks like it might be that house up there. Let's see if we can take these guys down. Oh, interesting. Ranithcord says currently in the PTR, you have to kill all freaks in an infestation to clear it, not just all screamers. So I forgot that they had actually added freaks to the infestations, so that like some infestations intrinsically have freaks that are not screamers as a part of them. Ooh. Dodge canceled that Molotov throw. Man, it is so satisfying to watch all the little heads pop. Okay, well there went the infestation. That's nice. Looks like we were capable of doing that, which is cool. Grab the zombie, kill it in the head, grab the zombie, stomp its head. Grab the zombie, stomp its head. There we go. All right. Whew. Okay, let's head back down there. We will clear out that plague husk. We will drop off our current gear. Not in that order.
Hey, if you folks aren't too busy, could you maybe lend us a hand?
All right. Oh, we should also clear out all the stuff in this outpost. We claimed this outpost in the middle of a stressful stream, so we didn't actually bother to get all the stuff out of it. So let's just do that real quick. And then, yeah, then we're going to head back to the vicinity of those infestations. And when we do, we'll try to find the weapon crates that Coalition was talking about. Actually, I just realized, I think I know where some of those are. I think you've told me about, you or someone pointed out those same infestations. Sorry, those same weapon crates in an earlier stream. I think I might actually remember where they are, or at least where one of them is. Oh wait, there's one more container over here. We used to not show, we used to not show which containers have been searched in an outpost. And that's a recent change, actually, when we put those back. All right, well, I guess if I want to grab that last bit, does this thing need new gas? It does not. I guess we'll grab this. Okay, so I'm actually going to have to head home. That's what I'm going to have to do because I've got all the rucksacks. So, yeah, well, it's nice to have the infestations gone. That's good. But I think I need to go home if I want to be able to get more rucksacks. Ooh, a feral. Excuse me, sir. The feral didn't have his V8 this morning. Come here. Oh. You don't know where that's coming from, do you? Look at me being garbage. How many times can I fire at this feral without hitting its head?
Hey, that's my last magazine.
Anyway. Let's head up there. Ooh! Thing I've been forgetting to do. We've got to make all of our extra materials into parts. Or we're just going to waste all those materials. Let's see. Oh, I might be able to... No, I'll come back here. I was about to... Oh, no! Whoa! Crap! I thought I dodged that. I felt like I dodged that. That felt unfair. That didn't... I'm not cool with that at all. Also, this is too many zombies. Okay, but they don't know I'm here. They're just here to chase the noise of me wrecking my car against a bloater. Ugh.
If I run into any more plague zombies, I'm screwed.
All right. Folks were asking about my difficulty. I'm playing in Nightmare Everything. So I'm not in like... So in my other community that I've been playing recently, that one is Dread Green Green. So not only is the difficulty of combat and, you know, the types of zombies I'm facing a lot simpler, but also it's just a massive bonanza of loot. Big piles of plague samples all over the ground, that sort of thing. This one is much more of a straight-up nightmare experience. It just occurred to me, actually. So which two nightmare bounties have I already gotten? So not bounties, boons. Which two nightmare boons have I already gotten? I got Builder, and I think I got Sheriff last time with the Assembly. And so probably this community, I should make sure that I've got a leader that is not Builder or Sheriff. I'm not sure what my current leader is. Because if my current leader is a sheriff or a builder, I should switch them away so that I can get credit. Like, whenever we do Legacy this community, probably on the air to show off Forever Communities, I want to get credit for it. So I should check it out. See what type of leader I've got. Let's make sure I'm not doing something stupid here. Okay, no, I'm not. We're good. Let's see. So I'm trying to read without hitting any bloaters, and it's hard. MS Noodle TV says, "Is it hard for you? Do you ever get scared?" I don't know if you're talking to me or if you're actually talking to somebody else in the chat, because I'm doing a really bad job of reading all of the chat. But they were talking about how, like, some of these, zombies make really scary noises and stuff like that. And so when I'm in trouble and I hear a feral, that does strike a little bit of fear into my heart. And so, yeah, so that can be kind of bad. I have gotten very accustomed to the zombies, too, though, and I've played so many communities now that I don't take them as seriously anymore. Like, now and then, I'll have an emotional attachment to a character that I've either, made a lot of jokes about over the years or over the months or whatever, or who I've had from the very beginning, and I'll feel really, really worried about losing them. But otherwise, I'm actually, if you'll notice how often I fast search, stuff like that, like, I'm pretty cavalier with the lives of my characters, which means that kind of limits the game's ability to scare me too badly, because the consequences feel kind of light. I don't feel like I'm in danger of something that I truly am worried about happening. And part of that comes from, like, I'll just play the game, to test it with throwaway communities. I just get really used to playing this game without a lot of skin in the game, I guess. I should probably give her a rest, actually. So let's have a look at Dahlia. What is she? She's a warlord. Good. Okay. So if I do start another community parallel to this one, I need to have it led by a trader. Oh, and she can upgrade her medicine. Pathology. Nice. So let's be Adam. I think Adam was the one I almost got killed at the very beginning of the official stream. What's he got on him? A little bit of fire, no heals, because I nearly got him killed. So let's... What did I... No! Why did I grab that? That's weird. Okay, this fires 9 mil. I got plenty of 9 mil. Actually, let's reload it. And then grab even more 9 mil. And then this... Okay, this has got a break. This has got a suppressor. I don't want to use this except in emergencies. So let's actually leave that behind. Leave some room in my inventory. Let's grab some heals. Let's grab more fire. Oh, that's That's special Wilkerson fire. Let's grab... I don't know. Maybe explosives I care less about? Nah, let's... Yeah, let's grab some garbage some garbage fire, just because I'm not trying to clear out, like, infestations or anything. All I'm doing now is just grabbing the husks and the special weapons from over around here someplace. So I don't think do I want to come back here immediately? I mean, oh yeah, I never even grabbed this one. So, where do I want to start? These two are going to be obnoxious because they're kind of far away from any outposts, and I don't have a lot of room for more outposts. Though, actually, wait a minute. Let me look in my supply locker. I don't have a network antenna, do I? I think I had an opportunity to grab a network... Oh, wait, no. Network signal booster. Yes, I do. Do I need that? Hold on, let me look at my... I can't remember what upgrades I have and where they're coming from, so... Oh, I've already got it. Okay, yeah, you're right. Of course, I have 6 outposts. Yeah, so I've got that. I was thinking, oh, wait, do I have room for another outpost? But no, I need to get a hacker if I want another outpost. So, oh, wait, I was going to grab some car stuff. I'm really, really glad that I had that quick repair kit last time. So let's make sure I've got that again. Grab 2 of these. Grab 2 of these. And now it's night. The Amazing Spider-Man says that they're proud of me for using stamina items. Yeah, that's a very special occasion when I remember to use stamina items. MS Noodle TV says all of my people have animal hoodies. I've noticed like the animal hoodies are really popular. I've noticed multiple people really focusing on the animal hoodies as like the thing that makes them want a particular character. So yeah, I guess I'll head up here. So yeah, I got a bunch of ferals around here. Why don't you just go get closer to the Haven device, ferals? That'll go really well for you. So La Coalition is suggesting that I use the Vandito. Wait a minute. I lost a Vandito, but was that in my other? Do I have a Vandito? Hold on a second. I know I lost a Vandito, but I think that was in the other community. Do I have one with this community? I wasn't even paying attention. I just knew that we drove this car around last time. Oh, I do have a freaking Vandito. See you later. Oh, get off. Okay, anyway, that's what the Haven device is for. Just run inside. That'll take care of the zombies for you. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I've got a Vandito. What does it need in the back? It's already got everything it needs in the back. Great. Yes, I agree with you. I should take the Vandito. Okay, yeah. Still headed down there. All right. The Coalition asks, how do you fail at opening a door? Honestly, I don't even remember failing at opening a door. I think I was so flustered when the ferals were after me. I don't know what was going on. Oh, hello. Ugh. All right, pop up here. This is not the way up. This is by no means the way up. I was looking at this in the dark and thinking, oh yeah, this looks vaguely like the switchback trail that goes up the mountain. This is not it. This is not the switchback trail that goes up the mountain. This is the switchback trail that goes up the mountain. Oh, ow. This is the reason why, yeah, I'm glad that I've got the Vandito. I don't know if I can actually fit 2 Plague Husks worth of loot into this Vandito. But if I can, I will be so glad to only have to make 1 trip up here. Because it's so inconvenient to get up onto this plateau. I mean, the plateau is interesting. I definitely, like, when the artists first put this together, I was like, oh yeah, what an interesting map. Big plateau in the middle, that's great. And I totally signed on for it. I was like, yes, this sounds like an amazing experience. But now as a player, I'm like, what in the world was I thinking? This plateau is so inconvenient to get up onto. Thing is, I think that we were thinking smaller scale a lot of the time. Like, oh yeah, the player will, at any one time, the player will be primarily playing in just one part of the map. You know, and that they'll be, you know, that they'll be having mostly a local experience that migrates around the map. But right now, like, that's definitely, I mean, sometimes I am playing a little bit that way, like, especially early in the game I play that way. But at this stage, I'm thinking about the entire map, like, I'm, you know, scouring the map for Plague Hearts, scouring it for Plague Husks, just driving all over the place, and needing to be able to get around easily turns out to actually be a really, really important part of the game. And so now I've got to go look back at, like, my past self and be like, hey, dude, you were not correct that having a big, inaccessible plateau is a good idea. Now, if this had been, for instance, the starter area of the game, and Actually, I should keep this. If this was the starter area of the game, and the whole point was to keep the player cloistered someplace before they move on to the big, wider world, and if we deliberately were putting things here that were easier for the player to handle, and this was, a place where you start and then leave and then don't come back, that's great. That works really, really well. But we didn't plan it that way. We didn't create an area like that until Providence Ridge, the northeast corner of Providence Ridge. That one's doing that, and this one doesn't. So, live and learn, right? We're definitely thinking, that future games will have a more planned out idea of like how the player progresses through an area and what they're going to want access to when and that sort of thing. Okay, I don't want to get out of the car right into a zombie. Oh, sure I do. It occurs to me I have not actually explored what this character is capable of. Gunslinging! Excellent. I don't have Powerhouse like those other characters, but I also have a faster weapon, so it's fine. But yes, gunslinging is back. All right, let's see if I can get everything out of this Plague Husk. It seems unlikely. That is not how you get in there. This I can carry. That I could... Do I need to use it? That's why I kept the Plague samples. All right, so we're full. Let's see what else we can do over by the car. Okay, I'm not going to take this off my back. So unfortunately, I came so well equipped. Like, I made sure to bring a bunch of extra stuff, like repair kits and things that I don't normally bring because they ended up being so valuable in that last episode. I kind of overfilled my my inventory. Oh wait, there's a bloater. Where's the bloater? There it is. So I am gonna have to go back down and then back up again. That's a sad time. Let's go back. Let's go down to this one because there's one on the way. So yeah, maybe we can... Okay, let's go down to this one. Let's take care of the one nearby. And then let's, on our way back up, let's hit both of these. That still feels efficient. Like, I think what I'm going for is just, I want the feeling of efficiency. I don't like... I don't like the idea of, wasting time and wasting effort. And so, even though I kind of don't mind driving around, theoretically, just that feeling of, I'm not collecting the stuff in these Plague Husks as efficiently as I could imagine is frustrating. And so coming up with some way to still feel like my plan is efficient helps. Oh, hey there, Nowanmai. Nowanmai came in and said, so I've been raiding Nowanmai recently at the ends of my streams. And Nowanmai says, hello, decided to come in and see how the game should be played. That is not what you come to me for. I mean, if you want to, watch somebody be very good at the game, you got to go watch Oji Jawafawa or, some of the other folks in this chat, Raneth Cord and Coalition, people who are actually good at the game. I'm not good at this game. I play it, and I talk about it. I hope I have interesting things to say about it, but, yeah, you don't come here to see somebody be good. That's not the purpose. All right, let's drop some stuff off. What? Can't find normal things. Okay, there we go. So, don't need this. You know what? Don't need that. Let's keep that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Okay, that's good. And then we're going to fill it up again with more garbage. You know what? I probably don't need that cure. I can get home in time if I need it. Grab that. I mean, I'm going to keep those. We'll see if I end up regretting it. Drop this off, drop this off, drop it off, drop it off, drop it off. Okay, there we go. Now, let's head back up the hill. Grab this one first, just to make sure I never have to go up there again. And then we'll grab that other one on the way down. Hopefully I can get both completely. Let's see if that's true. Wait, is this where I turn? Yes, this is where I turn. This is how I drive in real life, by the way. Missing every single turn, and then wondering if that was it right afterwards, right after I've passed it. So, average Twitch user asks, do you have any input on the comfortable backpack situation? Is it real or is it a mod? So I didn't know it was a situation, first of all. I believe there is a thing. I think there is an item in our game called comfortable backpack. I forgot. I think we made it like, hey, wouldn't it be interesting if backpacks, you know, like if we had just more of a variety of backpacks. I think somebody made something called a comfortable backpack. I forgot what made it special, but I think it is real. I mean, the thing is, I think the only way to get it is by modding, though. I don't think we actually stuck it in any of our loot tables or anything like that. So I think if you see somebody who has a comfortable backpack, I think they did mod to get it, but I don't think they modded to create it. I think that is a real thing that we've got. It just sounds familiar. I feel like I've seen that in our game. All right, so let's get in here. Grab the stuff out of this heart. And we're done. Yay! It's so funny. Like this team is very well equipped. I don't need all of this stuff. It just drives me crazy to have all of these plague husks on the map. It's kind of funny. Like before we added those icons. Well, what the? I didn't see any of these zombies. Stop it! What the heck? Well, that's why I brought this. No, that's not. No, stop it. Of course there's a frickin' feral. Nice! Ugh. No! Stop that! Wow, there's so many zombies. Ugh. You know what? They're gonna get on this car and I don't care. I think they won't get on the front. There we go. No, bloater. Ah, too many zombies. Ah! 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 Okay. 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 We're good. We're good. We're good. We made it. See, those like hair-raising escapes are like, oh gosh, what the? No, no, I'm stuck. I'm stuck. I can't get away. Fall down, bloater. Oh my gosh. Okay, I was going to say, oh, those hair-raising escapes where you feel this massive sense of relief after you get away from some zombies are like, you know, a big part of the emotional experience of this game that we're going for. One of the things that really succeeded. Only I hadn't succeeded in escaping. I had not escaped. That was, oh. But then, you know what? I did escape. The second thing that I had failed to escape. Man, backing the car up, not knowing if I was going to hit an obstacle before the bloater got me or something. Like, that was crazy. That was crazy. All right. Down we go. We managed to get everything out of the husks. We're gonna go drop it off at our outpost. And you know what? This little plague sample's been bothering me. We're gonna get it too. Sample. Ranith Cord says, I told you he screams when he gets into danger. I didn't even realize I was screaming. I was only experiencing the danger, not the screaming. Okay. You know what I didn't do? I didn't do that. All my efficiency out the window. Wait, hold on. I need more equipment. I was so excited about my efficiency, but then I got so, like, freaked out and traumatized by that whole too many zombies and then a bloater situation. And I need gas. Getting back out again. That I completely forgot my whole brilliant, efficient plan. MS Noodle TV points out that I apparently broke the car windows with my scream. So that is one of the fun sort of, I think it came with the Homecoming update, fun recent additions to the game, the fact that screamers break the windows in your car. But yeah, when you get freaked out by a screamer and the screamer breaks the windows in your car, it does feel a little bit like your own scream broke the windows. Enigma says, we don't call them screams, we call them manly emissions of surprise. Oh, I am definitely, I feel no shame about being someone who screams when he gets in trouble. I actually cultivated it on purpose when I was in high school, because I was that kind of weird kid who thought that cultivating weird, unusual behavior was a good idea and a way to sort of win friends and influence people. So I would, like, basically if somebody came up and, like, mildly surprised me, like I didn't know they were there, but they, like, called my name or something like that, I cultivated the habit of screaming in surprise whenever I saw such a person, or whenever somebody surprised me like that. And at first it felt fake, because there would be like a second's delay between them getting my attention and me remembering that I wanted to scream. But then after a while, I got real good at it. So that when anybody came up behind me, was like, "Oh, hey, Jeff," I would be like, "Ah!" You know, and I would just delight in their look of surprise, in response to me having screamed at their arrival. See you later. All right. So I think there are slightly different rules for the distance at which a stop. The icon, like the what am I talking about? The container. Why is my character not hitting these zombies? The container icon on a plague husk. I think that I think it fades out at a different distance, so you can walk into a building that's full of containers and pick out which one is the plague husk by its behavior at a distance, which I find amusing. Oh wait, no, stop it! Ugh. Let's make this quick, I guess. Everything else, it's gone. Bye, zombies. Goodbye, zombies. Goodbye, zombies. Boink. Close the door. See you later. Get in the car. We're headed down this way. Oh, hey, here's that original group. Boom. That was wasteful, but I wanted to kill that screamer real bad. So yeah, if I became a zombie and mutated into a freak, I would probably be a screamer. Like, I think that you know, the zombie pathogen would immediately recognize my potential as a screamer, and would absolutely make me a screamer. My arms would just slough right off, my jaw would collapse, and I would just start squealing my life away. Coalition, I think you've already asked me that question. Coalition is suggesting that it might be neat if characters, like if we tracked stats on characters and it came up with sort of like deeper progression for them, like a character who killed 4,000 zombies or something like that gets some kind of special bonus. So we have not come up with that kind of deep progression for our characters where like it just, you can just keep playing for a very, very long time and keep finding ways to make the character better. We ended up not prioritizing that, imagining that people would want to. I mean, this is part of the whole Forever Communities deal. Like, we imagined that players would want to play shorter campaigns of this game, and that, and so. But you know what? No, that's not valid, because we were still imagining that they would bring back the same characters to keep playing again and again. So actually, this would have been a good idea no matter what. Whether we were thinking that players would play short campaigns or long Forever Community type campaigns, having a deeper progression for the characters would have been a good idea. And we didn't do it because we were short-sighted. But I think we should think about that in the future. I think that's a really good idea. I doubt it makes much sense to do it in State of Decay 2, mostly just because we don't have a good place in the UI to put that kind of information, those kinds of long-term unlocks. We'd have to make yet another new menu. And I think it would be better for us to plan something like that from the beginning of a game and make sure that our entire, just everything we do tracking characters is built around the idea of supporting a deep progression. Hacking it in later is a little more difficult to make work, just because you just end up with a very cumbersome UI that's just supporting a long list of different features that you thought of at different times. That really, if you were planning them all from the beginning, you probably would have merged some of them, made some of them more easily compatible with each other, put them on the same screens, that sort of stuff. So I probably should have cut this episode short already, but we're so close. We're so close to being done with all the Plague Husks. See you later, zombies. Utini the Killer Jawa asks if there's a chance we'll ever get to name our communities in State of Decay 2, rather than having the names that are sort of randomly generated. So I know one thing we have talked about is the potential to let you push a button to randomize the name, to choose among sort of the available names and stuff. So that's something we've talked about maybe doing. Because I'm not on the State of Decay 2 team, I can't vouch for where that kind of thing appears in the priorities right now. But that is something we've talked about. One of the problems with letting players enter their own text is, particularly in multiplayer, you're kind of at the mercy of whoever's... one more Plague Husk. You're kind of at the mercy of whoever's game you join, right? And we've seen examples, for instance, of people modding their games to give everything really, really racist names. That's not cool. That's not something we would like. That's not an experience we'd like for people to have in our game. And while that is something that we didn't do, that's something that a player did. There's still this sense we get of responsibility. Oh wait, did I just act? What? I'm coming back to that subject in a second. I just got that bounty because somewhere I ended up with an accidentally allied enclave? Is that what that bounty was about? Was getting an allied enclave, or was it just a friendly enclave? What happened? Did these guys just become friendly? What in the world was that? Oh, that was weird. Yeah, so there must be a mission that just gives you a friendly enclave at the outset. What am I doing? There must be a mission that gives you a friendly enclave at the outset, and so the bounty to get a friendly enclave just auto succeeds when that happens. Well, that's just great. Anyway, even though it's a player doing it, and it wouldn't technically be our responsibility, it wouldn't be our fault if that happened, we still feel a certain measure of responsibility over the experience that you have with our game. And while we can't fully control other players, like we can't control what modding they do, we can put at least a few roadblocks in the way to make the most obvious bad behavior a little harder, which means, you know, you don't have to make something that much, you don't have to put that many obstacles in front of something to make it happen significantly less often. And so even though, you know, people are capable, actually, I should just go home. That was the last Plague Husk. Even though people are still, you know, capable of modding the game to include a bunch of racist stuff, and then have, you know, people come join their game and see a bunch of racist stuff in our game, even though people will always be able to do that probably, and we can't fully stop it, the fact that it's only modders who can do it is nice, because I mean, the percentage of our audience who are modders is very, very small, and the percentage of our you know, audience who are just regular players who are limited to the powers we give them is much, much higher. And so if we don't let you enter your own character names, if we don't let you enter your own you know, community names, then that means most players will not have that experience of joining a multiplayer game and then seeing a bunch of racist stuff. It'll still be possible, and you know, and because of modding, but we'll have done what we can to make it way, way less frequent, and so that felt like it was worth it to us, you know. And so even though that means that you as a player can't name your community, and that puts some limits on you, it does help us avoid some bad stuff. And that's not the only reason. It's also like just implementing arbitrary text entry. You know, it's different on different platforms. Bringing up the keyboard, you know, is different on the PlayStation. Wait, we're not on the PlayStation, but it's different on, you know, the Xbox versus the PC, and we'd have to kind of support it in different ways. There's technical headaches involved that I don't fully understand. I just got the impression from programmers that there were technical headaches, and so that if we cut this, we would cut some social headaches, and we would also cut some technical headaches. And so that's what we did. So we decided to go with randomly chosen names, which, you know, hopefully we came up with enough weird names that it's still surprising and delightful when you find out what the name of your community is. But I understand when you find out the name of your community, if it's one you don't like, that could just be obnoxious. And we don't give you really the power to change it. And so, yeah, so giving you the power to change it if you don't like it, I think would be really, really valuable. I don't think we're going to give you arbitrary text entry, at least not in this version of the game. Now, if we, you know, if there's some time in the future of the franchise where we're in a better position to control for modders, or we're in a position where, for instance, people have more, you know, control over who they are playing with in multiplayer, like, you know, if there's other scenarios, other multiplayer scenarios, and other, you know, just technical scenarios where these fears are lessened, where it's less likely that you're going to get into that kind of situation where somebody's deliberately trying to be some kind of offensive edgelord and makes that your experience with the game. And so, you know, in the future of the franchise, it could be entirely possible that we could make different choices in different scenarios. But that's the choice we made with this one, and I think we're probably sticking to it. But again, I'm not officially on the State of Decay 2 team. Who knows? I can never fully tell you exactly what's going to happen, because that's not my team anymore. Of course, I'm still losing materials, as always. Well, let's come home, wrap this stuff up. So Coalition is asking if it would be possible to add another parking spot. Splot? Did I just say splot? I think splot is the sound that those zombies are making as they're exploding. Yes, we have 3. Adding a 4th one, that's something that I've never actually been technically involved in that. That's been, like, Brant, usually, and other designers who have worked on that part of the game. I can't promise you that I can't really tell you with any certainty how hard it is. It's not crazy. It's not like, you know, oh my gosh, it's the hardest thing in the world. But I don't know if it's, like, fixing a small balance issue with one particular base might not be the highest priority thing, given that we've got these, you know, these larger systems that we're currently working on, trying to make these new additions to the game feel right. So I don't think it would happen soon. It is possible, like, in fact, it might be worth me writing it down. 4 slots on strip mall. I'll write it down. I'll add it to the list, and I could see the team getting to it at some point, like maybe during one of those interstitial periods between major updates when people are just sort of grabbing smaller tasks. I could totally see that being worthwhile. But yeah, right now it's probably not going to fit in the schedule just because everybody's really, really occupied doing sort of these larger things. Okay, so I'm home. Do I care about anything else? So do I want to, for instance, upgrade my fuel? Yes, I do. I do want to do that. What else might I want to do? I don't know. I'm just feeling good there's no more plague husks on this map. That's nice. There's a survivor in trouble. I'm not going to help them. We're actually... Yeah. We're going to get out of here. Actually, I think my rib cage is actually hurting. Partly from the position I'm sitting in, partly from all the tension of getting in trouble with zombies all the time, and partly with the fact that I'm just talking all the time and I'm just constantly using my lungs. So I should probably give it a little bit of a break. Let's see what I've missed in the chat. Probably a lot of things. Oh, so back when I was talking about arbitrary name entry being bad, Utini the Killer Jawa said, arbitrary text entry is bad, signed Bodie McBoatface. Yeah, exactly. Like, right, that's what the internet is all about. When you give people a little bit of room creatively, they will find the weirdest thing to do. And the weirdest thing to, like, really sort of, like, almost punish you for giving them that kind of freedom. They're like, oh, you gave us freedom? Look what we're going to do for the lulz. So, yeah, it's it's a thing. So, okay, the Amazing Spider-Man... the Amazing Spider-Man is trying to get my attention up here. Oh! They point out that if you call in a new ally, they're also automatically friendly. Oh, yeah, so I guess that was a really easy bounty to go after. I just wasn't even thinking about it. So Enigma says, is it not a bigger issue to punish the majority for the stupidity of the minority? It's not. It's a balancing act. Like, it's every choice you make is a trade-off. And so it's not as simple as it's good to do this, it's bad to do that. It's good, whatever most players are like, you need to do whatever they want. It's like, sometimes it is possible for a very small number of players to have an outsized bad experience that does outweigh, like, for instance, like, if our game killed 1 in a million people that played it, but the thing that killed that 1 in a million people was really fun for everyone else, you know what? We're still taking out the thing that kills 1 in a million people. Even if 999,999 players think that this is the best feature that they've ever seen in a game, but one person dies, we're still taking the feature out. Now, this isn't that big. It's not as big as death, but, there's a different proportion that makes sense for people, like, getting a bunch of racist trolling in the game. That's not as bad as dying, but it's bad. And it might actually be worth making a small decrement to the enjoyment of a large number of players to prevent a smaller number of players from having a really, really bad experience. So it's not as simple as just numbers and, like, lining up, say, oh, most people had this experience, and most people want this, and fewer people want this. Let's just do whatever the most people want. I mean, I'm sure there is some feature in this game that you really like that actually most players in the game find annoying, but we left it in for you. So enjoy that feature, whatever it is. And like permadeath, for instance. If you like most gamers in general don't like playing a game with permadeath. They're stressed out by it. They don't want it. And a game like this with permadeath, they don't play this game, and it drives them away. And the majority of players don't like the fact our game has permadeath. If you like the fact that our game has permadeath, that's cool. We made a decision for the minority of players that made you really happy, and we decided to dismiss all those players who would not play a game with permadeath in order to give you something that you wanted. And so you're benefiting from that kind of math all the time. And so this is just a case where you lost a thing that you wanted, but we judged that was a small loss in comparison to the bad experience we were trying to prevent. And also things like, again, the technical cost of trying to support a bunch of different keyboard entry methods and stuff like that. Like there's other reasons. The whole, people being trolls isn't the only reason we decided not to do it. But it was a factor, and it was a factor that makes a difference, I think. Average Switch user says that we mentioned at one point that we have a file that explains the lore of the State of Decay franchise, and it's actually called The File, that sounds awesome. It's not called The File. I think that Joe has referred to it as that because, both of us have forgotten what the file is actually called. And it's actually, we've gone through a few different iterations of it. Like, I wrote a file at one point. I wrote a document that laid out, a version of the lore of State of Decay 2 at one point, of like how the zombie plague works, that sort of thing. And then we brought in other people who've done their own revisions of it. And so I'm not actually sure what... I think as we're working on State of Decay 3, we're probably going to be making tweaks to that, and we'll settle in a new place that's different from where we are right now. And so, so there isn't a single file now that contains that. There's not like an official Bible somewhere, because we're kind of in flux. We're developing a new game, and we want to have the flexibility in places where we haven't explicitly said that the world works a certain way. We want to have the flexibility to tweak it and shift in other directions if we need to support our new ideas. And so so there isn't like a hard and fast Bible anywhere anymore. But you're right that would be really cool if there was a thing called The File that only certain people had access to it. It's a big secret. But yeah, that's not quite how it works. So Enigmal says, my most enjoyed feature is actually the start of the game having no vehicle. Yeah, so that's actually something we've been thinking about. No specific promises about the future of the franchise, but the experience of being on foot and not having a vehicle you can just get into easily, it's a rare experience in State of Decay. And it's one, like, there's this one sequence that I remember from State of Decay 1, playing it as a player, the sequence when you go to the fairgrounds. The fairgrounds can't be penetrated, not the base, but there's like the fairgrounds area next to the base. There is an area where you can't bring a car in. It's all fenced off on every side. There's no way to get a car in unless you're Mon Prince Cyclope, which you can get a car anywhere in State of Decay. But by and large, you can't get a car in there, and so you have to go in on foot with a couple of allies, and you're dealing with a bunch of zombies, and you don't have any recourse. You have to deal with them on foot, and it's one of the scarier sequences in the game for me, and I really liked that. And didn't really find a good way to integrate that kind of experience into State of Decay 2. But that is something we've been thinking about, is like having a car is so OP that sometimes it can hurt the experience in some ways. It can make it so that it's like, it's fun to drive around and smack zombies with the car, but if that's something you can always do, it reduces some of the sort of the anxiety and horror that comes from being so alone on foot. The times when you're out in some weird place and you blow up your car by accident and suddenly you're on foot, you have a very different experience with the game than you have when you're in the car. And so like the car is a useful, really iconic part of the game. We wouldn't remove the car, but coming up with more reasons why you might have to tackle something on foot is probably a good idea, because that experience is so good. So yeah, Enigma, I agree with you there. Wizard491 asks, why does the Mysterious Wandering Trader only come on weekends? So I wasn't the one who came up with that, and I remember having it explained to me at the time and thinking, oh yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I'm having trouble bringing it to memory now. I think that there's a little bit like of, kind of the same way that like mobile games often give you like daily rewards and stuff like that. There's a sense that if you create an appointment for players, like they're thinking like, ooh, I can't wait until this future day when I'm going to come back and play the game. There's this sense of like sort of urgency to come back and play the game. It can help with retention of players. But it's also, if it's on a calendar day, that means that players might coordinate around it. Players might decide to play multiplayer on the weekend because there's a reason to play on that particular day. Players might talk about it to each other. Like it also creates a sense of community if you're all experiencing the same thing at the same time. So originally when it was only on, I think it was like Friday and Saturday or something like that, maybe Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it was more like that. We've been stretching it out because so many players keep coming to us and saying, hey, I can only game on certain days and I'm never there when the Mysterious Wandering Trader is there. I think now it might go all the way from like Thursday to Monday. It might only be like Wednesday and Tuesday where you don't get the Mysterious Wandering Trader. I'm not sure. I guess I haven't seen it today, so it's probably more like Friday to Monday or something. But still, the majority of the week it's there. It's possible. But I think that was the motivation. But I wasn't the one who came up with it, so I probably can't defend it quite as well as he could. Let's see here. Awesome Twitch who says Jeffrey is a gold mine of State of Decay knowledge. I don't know. I'm kind of maybe a copper mine. Like there's people who definitely, depending on the knowledge you're going for. Jawafawa knows more about playing the game. Brant knows more about the deep history of the game. I can give you some stuff. I don't know if I'm solid gold. Oh, La Coalition is suggesting that it's possible. Okay, yeah, so no one might suggested that Thursday night might actually be a valid time. I don't remember what days it is now. It could be Thursday to Monday, in which case it's most of the week, but whatever. Yeah, Coalition was suggesting that it could be that that Quick Resume messed up the date or something like that. I don't know. When the game is constantly checking the clock, like for the Mysterious Wandering Trader, I believe it's actually actively checking the clock, in which case Quick Resume wouldn't mess it up. Quick Resume messes up the Bounty Broker because the Bounty Broker only updates when you start up the main menu. It doesn't actually update when you go into the game or when the time rolls over. When you're actually active in the game, the only time that Bounty Broker information updates is when the game starts at the very beginning. And so if you have the game on Quick Resume, you never go through that start, and so the Bounty Broker never updates. But I think that might be different from Mysterious Wandering Trader, but I'm not sure. It's entirely possible that the game's internal knowledge of what day it is only updates at that same time as the Bounty Broker stuff, in which case La Coalition is exactly correct. And that exact thing could happen because of Quick Resume. I don't know it technically under the surface well enough to give you an answer. I suspect not, but who knows, right? But yeah, so one thing I should definitely do is exit the game. So, and I'm going to go out to the main menu. So exiting the game is not quite enough. In order to get away from Quick Resume, you have to go further. You have to actually go to the dashboard, hit Start on the game, and come down here and hit Quit. Now State of Decay 2 has been properly quit, and we're ready to be properly done with this episode. Oh, Awesome Twitch Dude asks, will you get a Steam Deck, Jeffrey? I don't know if I necessarily want to be an early adopter of the Steam Deck. I spent a lot of my dad was always an early adopter of new computer hardware and stuff like that. We had one of the earliest CD-ROMs. We had Sony's first PC. Sony made PCs for a little while. That was fun. We would grab hot new stuff and then always be a little disappointed that the first version was never as good as the second or third or fourth version. And so I always hesitate a little bit on something that is completely brand new, unless it's something like a new console. I'm like, okay, well, I have to play the new games that are coming out on that console. Cool. Because the Steam Deck isn't playing, it's only got one actual game that was made specifically for the Steam Deck. It's mostly there to play existing games you already have. I don't feel the same kind of urgency to be an early adopter and grab the first one. I feel like they're going to find out reasons why they want to improve this thing. And there's going to be a second generation of them. That's probably where I'll try to grab one. And also, a lot of the games that I love to play, that I would want to play on the Steam Deck, I've already got, a lot of them are older indie games that already have Switch versions or iPad versions. And so I've already got mobile versions of a lot of the games that I would play on that platform. So I think waiting a little bit, grabbing a next generation one after more games have come out in a Steam Deck-infused world where they don't, where a PC indie game to become mobile doesn't necessarily have to do a a Switch version, doesn't necessarily have to do an iPad port. And instead, they could just say, well, if you want to play it mobile, get a Steam Deck. In which case, there might be fewer ports, and I'll want to get a Steam Deck to play those games mobile. So that's probably what I'd end up doing. Oh, interesting. The Coalition suggests, I would love it if we could remove certain games from being ever on Quick Resume. That does sound like a pretty interesting, valuable feature, actually. If you just, for some reason, there's a particular game that just always gets messed up by Quick Resume, being able to automatically say this one never ends up on Quick Resume, and then you don't have to go through the process of manually quitting it. Not a bad idea. But I don't have any influence over the people who decide how the Xbox dashboard, platform works, how the firmware does its thing. In fact, I'm using all the wrong words for it right now, so I'm terrible. Because if they listen to me, you would be able to set in your profile whether you invert the Y on your right stick, just like the Xbox 360 did, and that would be a thing I could set in one place and never have to edit it ever in any other game. That's what I would do if they listened to me, but they don't, and so that feature isn't in the game, isn't on the platform. Whatever we call this stuff, the operating system, I don't know. You see how non-technical I am? How do programmers even tolerate my existence? Anyway, we're gonna go. There's this thing, and that thing, and there's multiple things. There are many things. I'm just done talking.